welcome everyone. Today's session focuses on understanding the Python's operators and how to make comparisons using the Python operators. So, in the last session, we learned about loop control and some functions like enumerate and zip, which can make our looping iteration very smarter. In today's session, as our focus is on operators, so operators are special symbols with which you can do many operations on variables and certain values. We will see all the common types of operators, how they behave with numbers, strings, data structures, and understand where particular operators are useful. So first of all, we have the arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are used to perform some mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication. This does not work with numbers, but this can be also useful with strings, lists, sets, and a lot of other data structures. So I'll just directly jump to my code. So let's say you have two variables A and B. So the basic operators you have are plus, minus, multiplication, division. So with respect to division, we have multiple different types. So let's first discuss like addition, subtraction, multiplication are very clear to us. With respect to division, so 10 divided by 3, it will give us 3.33 like way the mobile calculators work. So A slash B will work in that way. Then we have floor division. In that a slash slash b, it only gives us the integer value, not the overall float value. So the output will be 3. Then we have modulus. So the modulus function will give us the value, the remainder value of this particular operation. So 10 divided by 3, so 3 threes are 9, and whatever one is remaining, that one will be returned as an output. Then we have the exponential function. So it just calculates the exponential. So 10 to the power 3 gives us 1000. So in that way that works. Then with respect to strings, we've already seen how addition and multiplication work. So you can add up two strings, or you can multiply a string and the output would be the string would have been repeated thrice here in this case. Then with list, how it works is it works similar to like how the strings were working. If you tend to add two lists, it like just by using a plus symbol, it will add with the list. If you do multiplication, the values of the list will keep getting repeated the number of times you have multiplied it. The same functionality works for tuple as well. With sets, we have like the kind of functions. So let's say this is an function which combines all of them together, like it's kind of an or symbol, but in with respect to set, it just gives us the list of all the unique values present in both the sets. Then if you do an end, it will fetch me like works like kind of an intersection. Then the minus sign will give me whatever unique value was present in my first set. Then this particular symbol, the upper arrow, you can use to fetch whatever, uh, like it will remove all the common element between two sets and will give me whatever elements are remaining in both the sets. Same like dictionary, you can like gives me a list of like I mean, the dictionary, it gives me all the keys. So how it will work is we had A and B in our keys in our first dictionary. When I odd it with other dictionary with B and C, you will observe that whatever value for B was present in the second dictionary, that will be taken in my output, not with the first one, because we're kind of ORing. So two like if there are two keys, one would be removed, and in this case, it would be the one that is present in the first dictionary. Then with Booleans as well, how it works is true plus two. So true stands for one, false stands for zero. So two plus true would be two. True multiplied by false will be zero. True minus false would be like one minus zero. So output will be one. And true divided by two, that will also result in one. So that is how all of this works. So we got 1, 1, 0, 2, b equal to 3. So this is how all these particular functions work. Then coming to the comparison operator. So comparison operators returns Boolean values, that is fixed. It will be either true or false. They compare values, like as the name suggests, comparison operators, and they're mostly used in conditions and loops. So let's say like we have like fixed set of comparison operators here. So one is like equal to check for a condition where both the variables are equal. Then we have a not equal to function, that is like exclamation equal to, then greater than, less than, greater than equal to, and less than equal to. So this comparison operators we have already seen with the conditional statement session. So I will not be repeating the operations of all these comparison operators. We'll quickly move to the next operator. That is the logical operators. So logical operators can be used to combine conditional statements, and like both the conditional statements could contain comparison operators as well. And these also work on the values of Boolean values, meaning a comparison operator will generate certain Boolean value, and 2, 3, 4, any number of Boolean values can be logically combined together using a logical operators. So the logical operators which we have with us are AND or NOT. And as discussed, like if you have some two values, so here let's say I have age as 20 and has ID is also true in this case. So what will happen is I will check if age is greater than 18 and has ID. So this condition also gets true and this is also true, so allowed to enter. So this is how the logical operator will work in combination with a comparison operator. Then the next operator we have is the bitwise operators. So bitwise operators compare binary representation of integers. These are useful in low-level programming or whoever like are working with microcontrollers, microprocessors, or performance optimization code. So bitwise optimizer operators can be used there. They're a bit tricky to understand, so we'll try to see how each of this functionality works. So let's say I take two variables, a is 5 and b is 3. Now, if I talk about how they can be represented as a bit, so how they can be represented as a bit is, let's say I have a value 5. So this they're represented with this particular value. So how these values work is, so you go from right to left. So this particular one, then let's say I will take value 0, then I will take value 1, and then I will take the value 0. So this 1 would be like 2 to the power 2 to the power 0. This 0 will mean 2 to the power 1. This 1 will mean 2 to the power 2, and this 0 will be in position of 2 to the power 3. So the value for 2 to the power 0, as we know, is 0. This value will be 2, this value will be 4, and this value will be 8. So wherever for a number, like let's say I want to get number 5. So how I can get this number 5 is, uh, let's say if I just add uh, sorry, to the power 0 will be 1, right? So let's say I will just add two values. Upon adding two values, I will be getting 5. So this works on basis of adding the values. So wherever the values are 1, uh, we will take that values for that particular bit. So how this will work is, let's say 0101, and here how the my values will look like 8421. Now wherever there like 1 is there, that values will be considered as 1. Wherever there is 0, you can convert that to 0. So this will be looking like this: 0401, and upon addition of these values you will get 4 plus 1 equal to 5. So this is how the bitwise operators work. And for a representation 0101, as it is bits works in 01. So essentially this is how it works. So you can just remember it like this: 1 like 2 to the power 0, 2 to the power 1 is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So it will keep increasing from right to left. So the first operation we have is a and b. So it works in the similar way of like the A and B. So, but it will operate on the bit values. So let's say 5 is represented by 0, 1, 0, 1, and 3 is represented by 0, 0, 1, 1. So like it's addition of 2 and 1. So when I do end, what will happen is this 0, 0 is 0, 1, 0 is 1, 0, 0, 1 is also 0, and 1, 1 will only remain 1. So when I do an end operation, that is bitwise AND operation between 5 and 3, my output would be 1. Then this is my OR operation. So OR operation will meaning any value is 1, the output would be 1. So how it the final value would be 0 and triple 1, which will be 4 plus 2 plus 1, that will be 7. Then this is like bitwise uh, like XOR operation, so exclusive OR operation we call it. So in this case, whenever two values are same, the output is 0. Whenever the two values are different, the output is 1. So what happens is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1 is also 0, but any values that is 1, 0 or 0, 1, that will be 1, 1. So like addition of this would be 4 plus 2, that would be 6 in this case. Then there is this bitwise NOT operation. So this is like two negatives, like we call it. This is a very specific functionality which we need to calculate. So you can just simply consider the output is -5, -1, and your final output would be -6. That is how you can think of it. Otherwise, this is a very complex calculation. And then we have the left shift and right shift. So let's say as 5 was represented with 0, 1, 0, 1, when we left shift it, meaning we shift the value towards the left and add zeros. So I am left shifting the value by 1. So what happens is this 0 will get removed from this particular sequence, and this sequence will look like 1, 0, 1, 0. So the value of 5 left shifted by one value is equal to 10 because it is 8 plus 2. Then similarly, if I do a right shift, meaning two arrows towards the right, so this one will get removed in this case and a zero would be appended towards the left side. So the sequence will become 0, 0, 1, 0, and the output value will be 2. So let's say if I just shifted it twice, right? So if I shifted it twice, then my output here, sorry, okay, here I also need to change, right? Yeah, so here my output would be 1 because this 1 will be shifted here at this particular position. My the new shifted position will be 0, 0, 0, 1. So that's why my output here will look like 1. Right. Then talking about the assignment operators. So assignment operators are used to assign values to variables. They can also update the value directly using a shorthand. So assignment operator is like simply equal to, and what shorthands are. So let's say you had something like x equal to x plus 5. So there is a shorthand assignment operator. How you can write it is x plus equal to 5. That will be equal to x plus 5, and the same functionality you can use for all the operators like mm, uh, the arithmetic operators like minus, division, floor division, modulus, all kind of shorthand operations will be allowed for the arithmetic operators. Then coming to the membership operators. So membership operator checks if a value exists in a sequence like string, list, or set. So directly going to my code part. So let's say you have some text like Python, you want to check if y exists in text. So and you can also use something like not in. So not in is used in cases where you want to check that a particular value does not exist in that particular variable. So these are useful in cases where you don't want to check for where you want to check that this particular value does not exist. Then similarly, you can use it for list, tuples, and the other sequence variables. Right. So as you can see, y was present in text, so the output is true. Z was not present in Python, so here also the output is true. Then for the list, if you check 2 in nums, so it will be true, but 4 in nums, as 4 is not present in the list, the output will be false. Then talking about the other and the last type of the operators, that is identity operator. So identity operators compare values on memory locations, and it is used to check if two variables refer to the same object, that is an value stored at the same memory location. So talking about memory location, so let's say I create a list A and I use something like B equal to A. So let's say A is stored at some location X in my memory. When we do B equal to A, B will be referencing A here. So B will be referencing the value that is stored at the memory location where the variable A is stored. So when I do A is B, the output will be true because both are referring to the same identity. But let's say I have another variable C with the same value as the A, that is 1, 2, 3 in the list, the output will be false because when I created C was created at a totally different memory location. So for that, the output will be false. Then similar to like membership operator, you can also check if both does not exist at the same memory location by using is not. And like just for example, if you do A equal to C, the output will be true because both contains the same values. It is not, we are not using the identity operator. We are just checking for the comparison between the two values, and both the values contain a list with elements 1, 2, and 3. So the output in the last case will be true. Yeah. So as discussed, for A is B, that is equal to true. A is C is false because both doesn't exist at the same location. Although both have the same content present, but their memory locations are different. A is not C will be equal to true, and A equal to C is also true because though they are stored at different memory locations, as we applied a comparison operator and not identity operator, the output is true here in this case. So, in today's session, we explored a variety of operators in Python. We understood how they behave with numbers, strings, and different data structures. We also saw how bitwise operators specifically work and how identity operators work on the memory locations. So these operators forms the backbone of any computational comparisons or operations that are involved between the data structures or any kind of sequence operations. In the next session, we'll see how to write more concise yet readable loops using Python comprehensions. These comprehensions form a great way to apply operations like filter, map, and transform the data efficiently. So yes, thank you for joining today's session. Let's meet you in the next session. Have a nice day.